Alrighty, how we doing? So nice to see all the people that are here today. We're back. It's time for some more community spotlight. And Carosa has the sharpest eyes, or at least the fastest fingers, noticing that we have the supporter board up the top now. That's the first time we've tried having that in the stream today. Saw an option for it. I've been playing around with some of the stream setup and settings, and I went, you know what? That's a nice way just to be able to have a shout out for the people that have been actively supporting the channel. So, and a nice way for me to remember to thank the people that actually do support the channel, like wonderful Jenski McBride, who I am still going to apologize for the fact that I didn't give them a shout out when I should have. And if I'd had this up on stream, I wouldn't have missed it. I wouldn't have forgotten because it's right there and I can't. So there we go. All right, so who else we got hanging out? We've got Raven and welcome back, Naive Melody. Hello. We've got Zoyboy, Jenski, and currently, yep, that's about it. And I'm cool with that. There's always going to be a little more cozy. We've got about 8 people just chilling in the stream at the moment. And you know what? That's totally fine. This is always going to be a little more laid back, a little quieter, because it's a little more niche. Although, we do have an interesting one to actually look at today. So, in case you didn't manage to spot it on the thumbnail, we're going to be looking at Code Bunny. Yet another game that might get me to lose subscribers due to it being a furry, quote-unquote, furry game. It's really not. Let's face it. The other one made me lose subscribers because it was a furry romance visual novel. This is going to be more like a crossover between Mega Man and Sonic, and I'm here for that. It looks quite interesting. So make sure you got yourself a snack, make sure you've got yourself a drink, and get settled in, because we're here not just to play, we're here to critique. And that's something I've always got to keep in mind, because these streams do require a slightly different mindset to the usual stream. We've got to be looking at things from a little bit of a different angle. We're not just giving it 30 minutes and seeing what happens. This is, you know, let's take some time to actually critique it, see what it does right, see what it does wrong. However, I should mention that Code Bunny is coming out, actually, let me check. I think it's in, yeah, pretty much bang on 24 hours. Countdown says 23 hours until it releases. So it comes out soon. There is a link over on the Discord to the Steam page if you want to check it out and wishlist it for yourself. It doesn't show the price yet, but it is going to be roughly $10 US. You can pick it up on Steam, or if you want, you can actually head over to Itch, because it's actually currently available there for, I believe, pretty much the same price. But they're finally bringing it over to Steam, so I get a chance to have a look at it, which is pretty cool. Welcome to Sandstray. Haven't caught a stream in a long time. Good to see you back. I always recognize that profile pic when it does pop up. Good to see a very classy discussion about Christmas ham. A little early for Christmas ham, isn't it, Raven? Raven's been having a stressful holiday, so it's good to be home and watching your favourite YouTubers without worries about data. I 100% agree. I know I have like 20 gig of data on my phone. I still like avoid watching any YouTube or stream content when I'm on data, because I'm still worried that I'm going to run out, even though it rolls over from month to month, and I probably have about 80 gig of data just sitting there waiting to go now. Naive Melody, don't like ham by itself, like cold meat. You know what? That's a fair take to have. There's a big, I think, scale between bad ham and good ham. There's lots of things in between there. So, you know what? Good ham can be really, really good. Bad ham is just horrendous. So I feel you on that one. Raven, you start the ham and the bacon early. Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you. Those are some of the best parts about Christmas. Jenski loves the Christmas ham when it has that nice crispy brown sugar crust. Yes, it's got to have a good glaze on it, so you get a little bit of a crust on the outside of the skin. You know, you can drag like a knife or a fork across it, and you get that scraping sound, like you get with, you know, good crispy skin on pork belly or something like that. That's how you know it's good. Anyway, we're not meant to be here to be talking about Christmas ham. We're here to talk about games. And I think what I will do, like last time, let me just jump over and we'll show you the store page for this one so you can have a look at it. And then we're going to talk through, because I've got a couple of questions answered by the devs. And What I do want to ask, let me know, because obviously getting these Q&As from the devs is something new that I'm doing. Let me know if it is something you actually quite like, because this is what we're going to be looking at today, which is Code Bunny. Brought to us by Team 7th Star. Like I said, already out on itch, just now coming to Steam. I believe it was made by literally 2 people. And that's why I wanted to feature this one, because it is a very small dev team that's behind it. So yeah, I asked them a couple of questions, 5 in total, and it's the same ones that I actually asked on the previous stream. So I kind of want to make this, if you guys like it, a more consistent format. Again, reminder, while I'm looking at these, I can't see the chat, so I'll catch up on it afterwards. So, first question, what engine did they use and why? They used Unity, since it's the engine that they first learned, so they wanted to explore it a bit more. They started with a small project, but Code Bunny took huge proportions, and before we knew it, it would be too hard to migrate to another engine. Plus, Unity allowed us to do some cool stuff with physics and 3D. Makes sense. Unity seems to be a pretty common one for budding game developers to get into, and my understanding is that it is just a very user-friendly game engine to get into, but still quite powerful. It's a lot that it can do. So I asked them, what was the inspiration for the game? And here's what they said. The game was heavily inspired by space movies and Japanese folklore, but in terms of media, it was primarily The Matrix, Nier Automata, Mega Man Zero, and there's just so many works to count. I think we're definitely going to see a bit of Mega Man Zero influence in this, just judging by some of the platforming and aesthetics. Third question I asked them, was there anything important that you learned about game development while working on this project that might be helpful for someone else? Their answer was, absolutely manage your scope. Keep things simple and try not to feature creep your game, otherwise it may become a nightmare to work on. It was definitely the case with Code Bunny at some points. Fourth question, what part of the game are you the most proud of? They said, I'm very proud of the story and the systems around it, but I also think we did a good job with the boss fights and level design. The controls give players a lot of freedom, so it's just as much fun to watch players figure out new ways to run around levels and face bosses. And then the final question, if you were trying to make this game from scratch today, what would you do differently? And their answer, I would plan things a lot more carefully. Planning is key. Scope is key. I definitely wouldn't make a game with 2 playable characters, as I think it increased our workload tenfold. I would also look for funding, as much of what made the game take so long was the lack of funding. I think there's a few good points in there. We heard this a little bit last time. Scope, it absolutely is key. If you don't control the scope of your game, everything blows out of proportion and you end up with something that is just simply unfinishable. Yeah, iconic scope creep warning, absolutely. And okay, good. Yeah, Unity is definitely a bit more of an all-rounder. Naive Melody, yes, is definitely more Gunvolt than Mega Man. Gunvolt I'm not familiar with, so let me know if there's some kind of, I guess, key aspects of that franchise that I should be on the lookout for as we dive into this game. I think on that note, let's kill the music. There we go, perfect. And we'll jump over and have a look at what this game is all about, because I'm keen to get into it. It's a genre of game that I enjoy and don't play enough of. Whoop. There we go, perfect, we're in. Ooh, let me just bump the volume up a little bit for you guys. And unfortunately, it does do that annoying thing where even in windowed mode, as soon as I click out of it, it freezes. So it doesn't have music continue to play when I click out of it. Chibi Trash, hello! I haven't seen you in a while, mate. How you doing? Chibi Trash, if I needed another good reason to sleep, an Australian streaming is definitely one of them. I'm a little conflicted by that. Are you saying that I am a good reason to sleep? But I mean, like, if my voice helps you fall asleep, excellent. You know what? Cheers to that, mate. I still don't understand why people like the sound of my voice, but apparently you do, so, you know what, I just gotta lean into that, don't I? I'm sure if I did, if I narrated the dictionary, I'm sure there's someone out there that would be like, yes, this is the best bedtime content I've ever heard. Naive Melody. Mega Man Zero is made by the dev team Inti Create. After finishing that series, the devs made Gunvolt. I knew I recognized the name from somewhere. Mega Man Zero, but with a score, focus system, and tech aesthetic. Okay, thanks for the context. Alright, so let's have a look at what we've got here with Code Bunny. Initial bits of feedback. First of all, looks clean. Although I would say that the main logo is slightly more pixelated. I actually saw something about this recently, and it does this weird contrasting thing where you have one aspect that's very pixel heavy and retro aesthetic, in this case the logo, but then the rest of the graphics, in this case the UI options, the team name down the bottom, and the version in the top left, are not pixelated. So we've got a little bit of a contrasting aesthetic straight away. I don't dislike it, but it makes me wonder if it would actually look better with a more clean logo or with more pixelated UI. Again, it's a design choice that's been made. I don't dislike it, but I just find it interesting. In terms of options, actually looking pretty good here. Let me just get my cursor off screen. We don't need that. This is where they've gone back into the pixel font, by the way, so I think if they leaned into it a little more, it might actually look more visually consistent. Audio settings, we've got sliders for volume, music, sound, so can't complain about that. Does exactly what I want it to do, and it's in 10% increments, so that's cool. Let me know, chat, if I need to adjust it. Video settings, interestingly, only goes up to 1080p, but you do get options between borderless, full screen, or windowed, which is quite nice. Inputs, separate for keyboard and controller. All of them are rebindable, including the controller options, which has a toggle for turning off, for switching between Xbox controller icons and PlayStation icons. So, I love to see that. So, thank you, devs. Nice touch. Especially going to the length of including different button layouts. As someone who uses a controller quite frequently, I have learned to adapt to Xbox controller layouts, even on a PlayStation controller, but I still appreciate it when I can actually just have it matching. Yeah, exactly, Raven. We're close to a bingo, it's not even the right stream. It's because I'm passionate about accessibility in games. You may have noticed no graphical options other than resolution and screen mode, and I think that's going to be totally fine. This is a game that's going to run smoothly on pretty much any old potato that you've got out there. So I think if I were to score like the menu and options in an out of 10, like an actual out of 10 score, I think I'd give them a solid 8. It does everything that it needs to do. There's nothing that's broken or janky, nothing overlapping. There's some small things that I would potentially look at tweaking. But one thing that I think, again, is a personal preference, this scrolling menu down the bottom, rather than jumping from option to option, I would almost prefer if it did like a quick slide and snap into place. When you've got a game that is aesthetically based around sci-fi, futuristic themes, technology, having a menu that just jumps in place, even though you've got like this smooth spinning icon, feels contrasting. You've got this weird dichotomy, yes, I get to use that word in a sentence, this weird dichotomy between really rough looking aesthetic and technology and really smooth looking futuristic technology. Now maybe that is relevant in the game itself as a theme, but initial first impressions are a little bit interesting. Alright, I think that's enough on that. Let's get into the actual game and see what we've got going on. Okay, let me just drop my volume down a little. Yeah, I had that turned up higher than expected. Let me bump that up a little bit again for you guys. Just 5% there. Alright, so, first things knows, we do actually have 2 different characters to choose from, which is a nice touch. So, I'd be curious to know what your thoughts are. We have Hazel, who is probably a little bit more of your standard mechanics. Mark enemies with arrows, dash into them, sword attacks, things like that. Or we have Axel, which basically uses a spinning attack and bounces off enemies to build up more momentum. I'm happy to play with either. Probably would have a slight leaning towards Hazel, but I'm curious to hear which one sounds more intriguing to you. And while you're letting me know that, also to anyone that's watching this VOD back later and wasn't able to catch it live, hi by the way, hope you're doing well. Thank you for stopping by to check out the content. I appreciate you being here. Naive Melody would go for Hazel, fair enough. As I said, that's probably the one that I would lean towards because it's probably a simpler play style. Axel sounds slightly more complex to me, but I'd be curious to check them out towards the end of the stream. Go for the first one. I always feel like it should be the recommended one if there is one. Let me just check. Which one did it default to? It defaults to Axel, interestingly enough, not to Hazel. So I'm going to buck the trend. We're going to go for Hazel. Ooh, okay. We have a story mode, which has the cutscenes. We have a classic mode, which skips the cutscenes. Okay. Skips the story exclusive events. There is a speedrun mode, which is currently not unlocked. Presumably you got to beat the game at least once for that. And then options. Okay, flags, which I'm guessing are checkpoints. Yeah, reset story progress, records carryover. Delete the save for that data. Migrate save data for the character. And then language options. This is an odd place to put your language options. Like, and it's only English and Portuguese. Okay, there's a little bit of feedback. I would not put your language options there. There is no reason to have it there instead of on your main menu with the rest of the options. That feels like it would be a simple enough change to make. Also, apologies if I'm scratching my nose a lot today. I swear I am not doing drugs. I literally am just having a really bad time with hay fever at the moment. Ah, Porch of Geese. Yes, we have all the Porch of Geese on the doorstep. Alright, let's go into story mode. Let's see what this is all about. Ah, perfect. Tutorial. Ooh, okay. Am I better than a pigeon? That is the question. Because this looks very Cuphead. Alright, let me just check something. Yes, you have small hops and big hops. Good to know. Alright, get the thing. That is a checkpoint. Perfect. Press that button to attack. Ooh, and it combos as well. So you got a 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a nice animation, actually. Mid-air, no combo, just single hits. Okay. That's nice. And you get a combo counter called Karma on the side, which looks like it's building up a meter down the bottom there. Okay, interesting. So is that a dash? No, it's an arrow. Huh. So you can shoot, and then I assume you're meant to oh, right. So you have to do right to shoot, left to zip. That's cool. So you basically mark a target, and then you can teleport towards it. Woo! Okay. Can I do it from midair? I can. So you can kind of chain that together then. Doesn't work on all enemies though. That's a pretty neat tutorial. Okay, okay. And we are straight into Luminous City. Why are we here? Where are we going? We're about to find out. Mic check, mic check. We good? How's the weather looking? This isn't the time, Dr. Yatsky. Please, take this matter seriously. Not bad, huh? Seems like there was an explosion on a building nearby, and our suspect was spotted running from the scene. You copy? Be on the lookout for any dangerous stuff. I'd love to watch you in action. That's what she's worried about? Alright, we have invaders. Why? Don't know, but I can boom, boom. Oh, okay, and there's extra text down the bottom. Snap seems like came from a portal source. Plenty of those too, according to data. Okay, so they're chatting to us as we go. I'll dispatch them appropriately. Why is that marked with that specific symbol? Can't do any downward attacks on them, but I can do downward attacks. No upward ones, though, interestingly enough. No smash combos here. So, regular attacks do that much damage. That does a lot more. Really? Ah, and it does a slight area of effect. Well, that was going to happen. Oh, that feels very satisfying to use. Alright, what's down this way? Excuse you. Alright, that, I'm guessing, means death down there. Let's not go there. It's a silly place. You have a lot of health. Goodbye, little turtle. So you actually kind of need to be a little tactical with the gameplay. I also can't get back up there. Interesting. I'm guessing we unlock some more movement abilities later. And if that's the case, that is super cool. Could you not? There we go. Okay, so far, it's visually a little busy for my taste. And again, I think it's coming back to the fact, like, if you look at the main character, Hazel, it's very much pixel art sprite. But when you compare it to some of the other graphics, it doesn't quite look like it gels. There's a slight disconnect between the graphical styles. But it's nothing major. It might just be my personal preference sneaking through. Yeah, I think it's just like some of the cleaner lines on the background compared to the harsher lines on the characters. Okay. Feels like there's something over here. No? Okay. Okay. Loving the variety in the enemies so far, though. It's not just one done. Is the game non-linear? Looks like it actually might be slightly. Oh, we have a parry? Oh, okay. Alright, alright, alright. I need to actually try to use that properly and not die then. Hi. Okay. That's cool. It's a shame that these arrows can only go upwards, but you can shoot multiple, which gives me an idea. Bonk. Got him. Now, how am I meant to jump that? I literally can't, so I'm guessing I have to go down. Yeah. Okay, now we actually have some stage hazards as well. Well, that looks like a silly place to go. Hi, Bunny. Wasn't expecting so much variety in just the very first level, but I appreciate that it's here. What's down here then? Okay, nowhere that I need to go just yet. Yeah, can't get out there. So yeah, there must be non-linear paths here. And I think that's why when I was watching the trailer, I was very much getting Sonic vibes. Because that does the same thing where it's like, well, there's multiple ways that you could go. Also, that was freaking cool. Absolutely chain all of that together. Hi, cube. Yeah, okay, so Sonic in the style of, like, getting rankings based on time, damage taken, etc. Interesting. Yeah, Raven, we're on the same page. Is it wrong to say it vaguely reminds you of Sonic layout-wise? I don't think it's wrong at all. Do you think Axel would take a slightly different route? I think Axel might have totally different levels, and we can check that out soon. This place is a mess. Way worse than the other district. Damn it. The Xanadu army's here. Xanadu? Isn't that a, like, in an ABBA song? I feel like it is. You must be our suspect. Surrender and state your intentions. You don't know what you're doing. Just back off. I know I'm dealing with a terrorist. If you won't surrender, I'll have to resort to force. He immediately goes for the Shadow the Hedgehog voice. Hell yes. Do you now? I see. Looks like you leave me no choice. Engage! Luna. Alright, well, let's, bonk. Just get behind you. Good to know that those attacks do block projectiles. That one doesn't, though. Ah, but I can also use that just to counter, like that. Ah. Yeah, that was gonna happen. Ah, I just saw that. It does have the health bar down the bottom. I didn't check to see how close I was to actually winning or losing there. Yeah, if I've learned anything from fighting games, it's, don't give your opponent any chances. When in doubt, strike. The best defense is a good offense, 100%. Zach, the Ennui specialist, welcome. How you doing? Haven't seen you in a while, mate. So yeah, so far, definitely getting some Sonic vibes from this, but with, like I said, it's crossed with Mega Man in terms of how the combat flow works. 1v1 you in, oh, King of Fights. Not good at that game. When it comes to fighting games, my specialty is Smash Brothers. I don't do too much outside of that. But if it's got similar mechanics, we'll be fine. I want to get into Rivals of Aether. That looks like it could be quite fun. And I think Brawlhalla uses similar mechanics as well. My suit! You're really as ruthless as they say. You're just a kid? Why is your voice so deep? What's the meaning of this? That damage. Surrender, and we may get you proper care. Don't make me laugh. You're with Legos Hyperbolics, aren't you? I'm not falling for your kindness. Hi! We're, magical bunnies. Loon, are you okay? Your suit is... Don't worry about the suit. This is just this just means a change of plans. Reinforcements? Good grief. Looks like we're dealing with a tough one. We don't have time for her. Let's get moving. You're not going anywhere! Silence. We are Mad Bunny, and you'd better stay out of our way. I'd love to take you on, but we have more pressing matters at hand. Wait! 3 of them. Things are getting complicated. Hey, Hotshot, you okay? The target retreated. I failed my mission. It's okay. We'll get him next time. Get back to HQ for now. Okay. So far it's following the format that I kind of expected, but I'm kind of surprised there wasn't a little bit more of an intro to things. It very much just drops you straight in. Planet Lumina 2090. Ether, the most powerful, versatile energy source ever discovered. Yeah, this is the kind of thing that I expected as an intro before the first level. It's been coveted by the people of Lumina for hundreds of years. Technological advancements made it possible to attain ether from its source. Comet... I'm going to butcher that. Iliasta. Legos Hyperbolics, a major tech conglomerate together with Lumina's government of Xanadu, birthed a project aiming to harness the comet's ether. This sounds very Final Fantasy VII-ish, right? Harvesting the comet for ether, harvesting the planet for ether. The VY space program. Hell yes. Oh, this is cute. Look at it. Hazel Jones herself. You look even better in person. Huh? What's wrong, Hotshot? You look a little dazed. Anyway, my name's Igusa Yatsuki. I'm the lead researcher here at the Legos Hyperbolics HQ. We're the members of the VY space program. It sounds even more so Gunvolt. I'll have to trust you on that. So, she really is a soldier, Igusa. I mean, what happened to the whole peaceful space exploration thing? The hot-headed one is Raffi. She's a mechanics and engineer. Hot-headed? Ah, she's not even listening. The girly-looking one next to her is Axel. Hey, what's that supposed to mean? Oh, don't worry. I slander those two all the time. We're like family. I was watching you through the monitor. You were awesome. I was only fulfilling orders, nothing more. Ah, I see. Anyway, it's nice to meet you. Rather long face, Hotshot. Give yourself some credit. Axel's right. You did an amazing job back there. Ah, she's okay, I guess. Compliments aren't necessary. We need to focus on the mission. You're so overconfident. Whatever then. Don't disappoint. She won't. Higher ups recommend sending her to the field ops. Maybe we could get Axel to do our laundry then. Oh man. Well, at least I don't get to fight. On that note, we got word from the CEO. Someone mentioned CEO just a second ago. Zach, guarantee there is a CEO in this universe that's working hard to harvest the planet's ether. Well, think we found him. She put us in charge to take care of that Mad Bunny group. It seems like they're targeting Xanadu-controlled areas. Problem is, we don't know why, but judging from the city incident, we need to apprehend them, as they can be a threat. Well, if that's the mission, we don't have time to mess around. Select next mission when you're ready to go. But if you want to blow off some steam, we can chill at the talk room. That's all for now. Let's get to work. There's a slight musical motif in that theme, which does remind me of Mega Man, which is quite interesting. Never played any of the games, but I recognize one of the main themes from his appearance in Smash Brothers. Yeah, devs absolutely know how to lure us in. I like the fact that it gives you a little bit of downtime between missions rather than just pushing you straight through. I would say as well, like, so far, in terms of presentation, it's pretty clean, pretty slick. If you know the genre, you're probably the target audience, and you're probably going to find a lot of similarities between other games that you've played and liked. So far, I have to say, like, graphically, it's not grabbing me. It feels like this strange combination of slightly too busy, but also slightly too simple, which is, I know it's contradictory, and hopefully as I play a little bit more, I might be able to give some examples of what I mean. But it's one of those ones where it's like, things that you need to pay attention to are very detailed. Things that you don't need to pay attention to are very simple. And I'm still on the fence as to whether I'm okay with it or not. And it's a weird kind of mix, right? It's almost like there's too much that is graphically just a solid color rather than having texture to it. So using like the walls in the background here as an example, you can see in the glass it's got this lovely patterning to let you know that it is something that is opaque and meant to be see-through. Same on the floor, it's got these weird like light patterns to make it look all nice and futuristic. They're pretty simple in terms of the coloring that's behind them as well. It's basically just one shade. The characters themselves though are very detailed, but that detail feels like it blurs into itself in a weird way. Almost like it's trying to be too detailed rather than just simply doing a core design that offers more personality. Like, you think about the sprites for like old school, we're talking Super Nintendo era Mega Man or Mario sprites, even Sonic sprite, they were quite simple, and that allowed them to become iconic. And I think in some cases we do tend to go a little more into too much detail, and that prevents them from being iconic and recognizable. Again, that's just my personal opinion. Still thinking about presentation, so far I would say the music is pleasant, but not memorable. If you ask me to hum back the main melody of this theme that's playing right now, I don't think I could. But I can guarantee if this was, again, like a Mario, a Sonic, or a Mega Man, I absolutely would be able to. And I think it's simply because the melody, like the graphics, is almost trying to do too much. Some of these cases, simpler is better. You want, in these kinds of games where the mechanics and your gameplay is relatively simple, you want things that will get your player hooked. And that is going to be mechanics, it's got to be satisfying to play and use, and you want the music to be a hook for the player as well. And you've got to walk that fine line between being interesting and repetitive. And there is a fine line right in the middle where it strikes that balance where it becomes iconic. I mean, think about like the basic Mario theme, the da-da-da-da-dun-dun. It's very short. It's like a 20-30 second loop. It is not a long piece of music because they were working within the constraints of what they could do at the time. But it is so memorable as a result, yet it never feels repetitive when you're playing through the game. It's the Mario tune. Now, I am curious, we have more options here. Okay, so this is the same as the main menu. And we have the talk room. And I'm guessing the little icon next to it meant that there's something new here. What is it? Oh, I was just checking out your sword. It looks so cool. There's nothing cool about a weapon, especially this one. Sorry. I think swords are awesome. Yours kind of makes you look like a samurai, Hotshot. No, it doesn't. I'm pretty sure you'd look like a samurai if you wore an older version of the VY suit. What is that supposed to mean? Anyway, where did that sword come from? It's not a common weapon in this day and age. It's none of your business. Is that so? Shush. Yeah, so I'm guessing if I go again, there's going to be another little scenario. And I like that they've done that to kind of flesh out the personality of the characters a little bit more. That's sweet. Like, they didn't have to include that, but I'm glad they did. Yeah, Zach, hopefully there is a samurai cosmetic that you can get. Naive Melody, there's also a gap. Naive Melody or Nick, right? Yeah. There's also a gap in the combat we've seen thus far. There doesn't appear to be a slide or dash equivalent. A game like this works best with big movement aspects. I agree. So far, you're right. It's feeling like it's a little bit of like, now it's combat, now it's movement, now it's combat, now it's movement. It's not flowing into each other yet. I think it might get there. Like, if you think about, probably not like the early Sonic, but I'm thinking like Sonic Adventure onwards. What that did really well is fast-paced movement sections, but then when it gets into the more platformy and combat bits, the enemies are placed in such a way that you chain attacks between them, which still gives you that feeling of momentum and moving forward. This game has that similar kind of homing mechanic, but it requires you to land that shot first. And because you can only see so much on screen, there's only ever going to be so many enemies that you can tag, and chaining them together becomes a little bit more difficult. So I, in some ways, do wonder if like a lock-on system with a cooldown might be better, but I really shouldn't judge yet because we've done basically the tutorial level, and I want to see where it takes it. I can't critique it too much yet. Ooh, okay, you can actually replay levels from here. That's cool. Let's go to the Forest of Morach, and let's see how it expands upon the gameplay ideas. It gives more tutorial. That's a good sign. You've given me an invisible wall without giving me an invisible wall. Yeah, that is something that annoys me. You could very easily actually just put a wall there. Like, again, it's minor. It doesn't really matter. Alright, what are we doing here? It wants us to do that. Oh, wait, hang on. Okay, yes, that's what I'm talking about. Lets you do an extra hop in midair after doing a dash attack. And that is all the tutorial was for. Shaboom. Very cool. Now we're getting a little bit more combat momentum, and that, I think, is going to make the difference. Let's see if it makes us put it to use. Ooh, that's a nice little graphical flourish. I suspect they might be a member of the Mad Bunny. Alright, let's just chill here for a sec. Use the sailor. Alright, let's just listen to the music for a second here. Playing with counter melodies, that's interesting. There's 4 layers of instruments in there. Actually 5. So you've got the drum layer, then there's a bass layer, then there's a quieter like piano layer, and then you've got 2 competing melodic lines at the top. I think the music is pleasant, but it's lacking that punchy, memorable melody. And I think it's partially, now I'm thinking about it, because the instruments are very samey. It's not using those kind of synths where you have different instruments that stand out, very different instrumental sounds. You basically go with the drums and then 4 layers of very samey instruments. But it's also very much in the same notation section, the same pitches. It doesn't have a lot of jumps and depth and movement to it. Or chords, interestingly. Wow, okay, suicide little guy there. That said, like, it's fine. It's just not memorable, if that makes sense. I'm not going to be listening to it going, oh, that's so annoying, I wish it would just stop. But I'm also not going to hum it back later. And there's a lot of games that do that. However, this is the kind of soundtrack that I would put on in the background while I'm doing something else. I will say as well, movement feels good. It's snappy and responsive. I like that you can move in midair to course correct if you need to. Sound effects. The melee attacks is pretty punchy. Ranged attacks could do a little more, and some kind of sound that plays for the parry would be a nice touch as well, I think. Alright. Can I hit you? Aha! And you can do Shovel Knight style pogo attacks. That's nice to see. Shouldn't have tried to jump up. That was just silly. Oi. Could you not? Okay, I have to be more careful because we have no idea how to actually heal in this game yet. Also, I've noticed some kind of weird particle effect that appears. Ah, see, if I was quick, I probably would have been able to actually hit him and then dash over. Yeah, that sent me back there. That's fine. Definitely options for different courses, and I can see the speed running potential in this game, which is very cool. Alright. I think what might be missing here, weirdly, whoop, yep, is these arrow shots feel like they would benefit from actually hitting all enemies in a straight line. Rather than just stopping at the first enemy, imagine if it went through. That way you could really chain some like attacks and things together. Also doesn't quite give enough height, but maybe that's me and I'm doing it wrong. Let me try something here. No. If I do that, then jump. Yeah, no, it doesn't get high enough. So there's definitely a different way that you're meant to approach that. That was just rude. And it does give some iframes using that. And I see something there allowing me to recover HP. Not sure what it was. That's a teenage girl? Is that the witch Medusa was talking about? So, you're the one haunting these woods, huh? Not bad for a little girl. Now, identify yourself. What's your deal? Ah! Okay, I love that. You okay, Hotshot? That was careless, yeah. This could have gone a lot worse. I guess this confirms our suspicion about the witch. Bonus points if she's with Mad Bunny. I like it when you manage to fool the player with something like that. I wonder if they're going to include any others in here. Ah, maybe that's the other factor that's making this not quite feel punchy. Given how that attack works, it feels like it should one-shot the enemy that you go through. You can just zip up like that. It's kind of fun, though. However, I get maybe why it's not a one-hit kill. Because it might be that you actually need some enemies in those cases to, like, reuse them and get additional bounces and attacks and things like that. Alright. Hello! You again. I gotta say, that wasn't a very stealthy approach. I don't have time for games. You're with Mad Bunny, aren't you? That's right. I'm Faye of the Nyx clan, protector of these ruins. The Nyx clan? There are battle robots everywhere. What's your goal here? What I'm doing here is none of your business. Now, leave. Invaders like you aren't welcome. Okay. Faye wants us to catch. What if I... Okay. Can I hit it with a melee attack, though? Yes. Perfect. We're now playing Zelda. Bonk. Let's just dodge that. Ah. Just trying to go get them all. There we go. Range attack for the win. Yeah, see, the impact there doesn't feel punchy. Know what I mean? It feels like I'm popping a bubble on her. Bonus points for name Sabrina. Yeah, not quite. I find that the score system's a little meaningless. It's not really a way to build it up or any kind of benefit. Not that we know of yet. There might be mechanics that they introduce later. And to begin with, it's just like, let you know that it's there and you'll figure out what to do with it later. I wonder if there'll be some hordes of really intense bosses later to complement the score system. Possibly. I think time will tell. We've got to get a little further and check it out, right? Goodbye. Okay, yeah, so killing enemies does regenerate health. Don't! No! You absolute jerk. Oh, that was interesting that it actually zips the camera back like that. I thought it would just do a reload. Yeah, I can't quite get up there. You jerk. Get out of there. Yeah, killing enemies gives health back. That's what the mechanic is there. I'm not sure what that little particle effect was there. I think it's maybe like an overshield. Because you can kind of see it behind the text there, but my health bar has this red flashing section now. So let's test this area out. If I bump into something, maybe. You are pretty squishy. You do not have a lot of health. Yeah, there. So now I've got a different red portion. Yep, not 100% sure what that is. Also, can I even get up there now? I can. Checkpoint! Now, I can... Ah, I know what to do here. I'm being a dummy. So I can mark, and then wait. And then I can do stuff like that. That's kind of cool. Counter attack. Whoa. Controls are a little slippery when you come out of a dash, though. Oh, yes! Managed to save myself there. That was cool. I don't think I can get back there now, though. Oh, no. Thank you. Get out of here. That counter is a pretty useful ability. I'm going to have to practice that a little bit more, because it also marks the enemy so you can dash towards it. So I can do stuff like that. That's kind of neat. I can see the potential with the movement system, right? It's just waiting for that moment where it all comes together. Oh, there we go. But is there something up there? I'm curious now. Hang on, let me dash back. If I get this at the right time. Nah, I can't get up there. Interesting. So, are there additional movement abilities, or do I just suck at this game? That is the question. We have a two-parter. Let's jump this. Stay where you are. I won't let you escape this time. You soldiers are always so annoying. Just leave me alone, or I'll kick your butt. Tell me what Mad Bunny's up to. Don't make it harder for both of us. Yeah, right. Like I would have trust the likes of you. I'll get my answers either way, kid. Don't think you're going to get off easy after partaking in terrorism. Oh, so now we're terrorists? You're as stupid as you look. You wouldn't understand. Mad Bunny's actions caused a lot of damage. As if. Take a good look around you before pointing at us. Both Lagos and the Xanadu army are just a bunch of hypocrites. Enough! You leave me no choice. Bring it on. I'm not falling here on these grounds. Phoenix. Oh, okay. Yeah, they were the witch character that we saw earlier. Okay. I am very hurt, I just realized. I am not going into this battle in the best of conditions. Excuse you. Get out of here. Okay. Cool. Don't get hit by that. Don't get hit by that. Oh, get wrecked. Can I counter there? No. Come on. She's so close to being dead. Oh! There we go. That'll do it. S+ rank on that one. Nailed it. What's that? A comet shard? So this is what you came for, huh? Why would a bunch of kids need this? Stay away from it! That shard doesn't belong to you lot. It's a sacred Nyx clan artifact. I'm well aware of that. However, you should know the Nyx clan doesn't live in this forest anymore. Can't fool me. If you were doing this for your clan, you wouldn't be alone here. Psst. Nothing in this forest belongs to any of you. I feel like a sassy teenager for this one. Look, kid, I won't get into politics here. Just tell me what you need this for. Screw you! I'm not in a rush. You have plenty of time to talk back at HQ. Interesting. Mysterious shards. Comet shards are an excellent power source, but pretty volatile. What did the girl say she needed them for? She was unable to provide answers. However, she did show some kind of attachment to the ruins. Well, no wonder. She's from the Nyx clan. They used to inhabit that region, but environmental conditions got really bad, so the lands were sold off to Xanadu. Maybe she holds a grudge since they weren't allowed to live there anymore. I didn't know that. I feel kind of bad for her now. But it doesn't add up. We still don't know why she needed the comet shard. So we can rule out environmentalist activism? I guess we're back to square one. That's why we need to stop them. If they're not willing to tell us their goal, it makes them a threat. Hold up. They're not actively trying to pick a fight, so I wouldn't call them a threat. But a fight broke out nonetheless, and they have the means to hold their ground in one. Stop being naive. We can't just give up on diplomacy. Alright, you two, settle down. Both of you raise good points, but we're not getting anywhere like this. Keep the pressure on Mad Bunny, just to be safe. We already got a location they might target, considering they're after comet shards. Let's get to work. Yeah, we're definitely mercenaries in this. Interesting. You know what, yeah, let's do one more talk room, and then we'll press on with one more level. Alright, you shouldn't be drinking during work hours. Sheesh, calm down, it's just grape juice. Grape juice? I don't need you worrying about this too. Huh? Yes, that da 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 da. That's definitely a homage to Mega Man there. Yusa's got some drinking issues. Hey, watch it! I don't have issues. Sure. You don't want me to remind you about the incident again, do you? Shut up, Raffi! I've learned my lesson. What incident? Oh, it was crazy! I'll never forget that night. Okay, but what happened? She was so far gone. You just had to see it to believe. That doesn't answer my question. Okay, I get it. Just stop bugging me about it already. Stick with the grape juice. Okay, Mum. So, what was that incident about? Oh, it was unbelievable. So what? Never mind. Yeah, we're never finding out what it is. But again, great way to just add a little bit of extra personality to the characters. I think the only thing that I would improve here is in the talk room option, rather than just going straight into the content, I would actually appreciate it if I could see... Actually, how would I want to frame this? There's lots of ways that you could structure it, but essentially what I would want to do is, if I have multiple different conversation options available, give me them in a list. Give me a title for them that kind of summarizes what the conversation is going to be about, maybe some icons to show me which characters are involved in the conversations, that I can pick and choose a little bit if I want to. Because at the moment, I don't know how many conversations are queued up here. But if I could go into this menu option and then see there are 4 available ones, then they're like question marks to show that there's still more to be unlocked, or I can repeat previous conversations if I enjoyed them and wanted to like see them again, or reference back some little tidbit of lore that was in there. But at the moment, I as a player feel disinclined to keep clicking on this button. Partially because I'm on a live stream and I don't want to bore you guys with it, but partially because I don't know how many more there are, and I don't want to sit through 10 in a row just for the sake of completion, if that makes sense. Give me 1 or 2, make the icon disappear, move on. Or let me click into it, see that there are 2 more to go, and I'll go, oh yeah, 2 more. I'll sit through 2 more of those. These are fun. I'll do that before I get into the next mission. Know what I mean? It's such a little minor thing, but if you want your player to engage with that as a mechanic, you've got to have some level of transparency as to what is going on mechanically with this. At the moment, all I know is that there is more conversation, don't know how many. I mean, actually, you could do something super simple. That exclamation icon, add 1 for every available conversation that is currently there. If I see 3 exclamations, I know there are 3 conversations waiting for me. That's all you need. Alright, let's go have a look at Yokkaido. Do we get another tutorial? We don't. Okay, so potentially we've learned all the movement for now. Again, let's sit here for a minute and just listen to the music. Okay, this one's got a little more layered structure to it. Okay, nice chords there. I can hear it up over here. This is a da da dee da da. That's a nice touch. It's a long loop for the music. But what I will say so far is that for all the music, the loops are not particularly noticeable. It does feel like it just continues to flow. And that's a really good thing. I think there it's looped again. Yeah, it's very Japanese, but it's very fitting thematically with the level itself. So I'm not going to complain about that. But one thing that I think I'm starting to notice with the music is there's no core musical theme or leitmotif. What a lot of these other games do well is they'll go, well, this is the core melodic, what's it looking for? It's the core melody for either this location or this character, and you'll hear it remixed in different ways, but you still go, yeah, this is this character's theme, and it gives it more identity. There's no repeating melody in this entire song. It flows really nicely, but there's no repeating melody. Alright, we have a new mechanic here. Hutshot! There's a shard kept in a shrine here in Yokkaido. Good to know. This one should be cake for Mad Bunny. Keep an eye out for them. Boom. Okay, so we have new mechanic here in the form of these air drifts. I like those enemies that have shields that turn into a bow and arrow. That's a very cool mechanic. So I can zip across there. And realistically, there's not really much point in killing enemies if you're not injured. You might as well just keep progressing. Right? Okay. Whoa! Okay, very easy to slip and fall. Excuse you. Thank you. Can I get back up there? Yeah, I can. Yeah, there we go. That's the loop for the music. You can just zoom, but now I can't get over there because the enemy has been defeated. I can go that way. Okay. No way up there, though. Can't get enough height. It always makes me feel bad, like when you're playing a Sonic level and you accidentally fall down, you're just like, well, this is my life now. In fact, I can't go anywhere from here. Do I die if I fall down? What happens? Nope, there is more land down there. Alright, that gets the checkpoint. Use that to bounce? Nope, not quite. And now we're stuck. Feels bad, man. Oh, excuse you! Alright, alright. Get counted. Hi, I'm stuck. Please let me pass. Thank you. That's an odd spot to put in air current, but sure. Oh! Ooh, okay, so there is an upper path up there. I suspect... Yeah, you can only get there from the very bottom level to get enough airtime up. Oh! I'm sorry. So why didn't that one heal me? Because I'm taking too much damage. Oh, that one got me some health back. I need to stop bumping into the enemies. Yeah, some of them heal, some of them don't. I think it's if you mark them. Let's see. Yeah, because that didn't heal me. How does it counter a projectile? Huh. Still get an attack out of it. Yeah, killing with the dash is what heals it. Hello! What was that? Oh, well, we're here now. God, I can see speedrunners having a blast with this. That's satisfying. but I need more of it, you know what I mean? 1, 2. There we go. Okay. I'm also just thinking about the level design itself. It feels very gamey, if that makes sense. Not necessarily a bad thing, but even somehow like some of the Sonic levels, they feel like they belong in that world to an extent. There's geometry that doesn't make sense, no matter how much you put down to just being like, oh, it's futuristic. It's like, well, actually, that building is attached to nothing. There's no way for someone to actually get there. And that can sometimes make the difference between an area feeling like, oh, this is a game level, and, oh, this is a level set in a city in a game, if that makes sense. It's all about that bit of immersion and believability. Step away from the shrine, terrorist. Is that any way to talk to an old friend, Hazel? Who are you? Shoko Hikari. Why are you here? I'm a member of Mad Bunny now. Times change, don't they? You even teamed up with Legos Hyperbolics. How ironic. I'm here for the comment shard, obviously. But when I heard you were around, I couldn't miss the opportunity. Opportunity? To kill you, of course. Shoko, please. We don't have to do this. Come on! After all these years in the military, you're hesitating? Well, maybe there's something bothering you. Do you need a reminder? I didn't want to do it. I just... Don't be ridiculous. You made a choice that day. Now, I'm going to get my revenge. Okay. Look at the little bunny ears wiggle in the wind. Oh, you're... Oh, okay. Sure. We're just going to do a bit of that. I see. Okay. I need to be very good at countering in this one by the look of it. Woo! Bonk. Come on, what you got? More of that. Gotcha. Am I hurting her at all? That did. Bonk. Yeah, no, that is hurting her. I am super close to death. Take that. Alright. Counter. Strike. It's a decent game. Woo! That was a close one. Clutch. Damn it! Nope, we're not dead. Not yet. I have a sliver of health. Come on. Yes! Clutched it. 2 health bars. I peaked at a bad time. Yeah, I really did. Clutch that one, though. I'll take it. No! Why you... We can't keep losing shards like this. You never get tired of taking away what's important to me. When I first saw you holding his sword, it filled me with rage. Now you're drawing it towards me. I'm next, huh? No, I couldn't. You're a coward. You'd rather have me live with this humiliation. Very well. You win this time, Hazel. But I won't stop fighting. You and Mother will pay for your crimes. Animatic, hello. How you doing, mate? Thanks for stopping by and checking out the stream. How you doing today? What did you just say? Animatic, have you been here before? Let me know. Let me know if you want a quick rundown of what the heck's actually going on in this stream. Hey, how are you? Did anyone send you? Not really. You guys just said you ran off, so I got worried. I brought some coffee. Ah, welcome. Animatic, just so you know, I do 3 different types of content on this channel. First of all, make sure to check out my actual full videos, which are review videos of games played in alphabetical order. Good fun. And then in terms of streaming, I do 2 streams per week. This stream that you've joined today is Community Spotlight, where I feature games made by members of the community. Today we're having a look at Code Bunny, which is a Sonic slash Mega Man style game, which releases tomorrow. It is made by 2 devs. So they've actually done a fantastic job, all things considered. It comes out tomorrow, and it's going to be $10, which is pretty cool. Animated across the vids, never any streams. Okay, yeah, no worries, no worries. Thank you for checking out the video content. Appreciate that. The weekend streams that we do, now shifting to a Sunday instead of a Saturday, they're a little more lighthearted, a little more fun. These ones tend to be really focused more on critique rather than actually getting through the game. We're looking to see what works and what doesn't work so we can give some feedback to the devs. The weekend streams are Wheel of Misfortune, where we're playing community suggested games all put onto a wheel. We spin the wheel, see what game we land on, we play it for 30 minutes, and at the end of 30 minutes we hold a vote to see if we're going to carry on playing it or move to something else. So if you want a little bit of fun, definitely make sure to stop by and check out those streams. They're really silly fun, and we play bingo at the same time because you never know how many stupid things are going to happen in a single 30-minute session of a game. These ones, though, these are a little more chill, a little more serious when it comes to what we're actually looking at in terms of the game. We're looking at things like the presentation, we're looking at the way they actually configured the game for the settings, look at the narration, the graphics, the music. It's all about just giving feedback to the devs. So these ones aren't going to be the most, I guess, interactive or exciting streams, but if you're just wanting to watch some gameplay, see something interesting that you haven't seen before, you've come to the right place. Thank you for the coffee, though. If this is about Shoko, it's really none of your business. Right, yeah, I mean, you're trying to be sweet and all, but my character is not one to make friends. Dang it, I mean, wait, come back! I want to apologize. I'm just being harsh. I'm not always like this. You don't really have anyone to talk to, right? Can I? Yeah, please stay. Oh, that's sweet. Look at the 2 of them sharing some coffee. Bonding! You know, this is really good coffee. I know, right? Yagusa's really good at brewing coffee. Yagusa made this? Oh, this was actually me. I like having coffee with Yagusa, so I guess I picked up on her blending skills. Yeah, it really warms you up, especially here in space. Yeah, so, space, how about that? Can't really talk about the weather when you're just in space. Oh yeah, and yeah, how's the climate control settings going on the space station? Oh, you know, yeah, still set to 20 degrees Celsius. It's fine, I guess. Yeah, and did you catch that sweet sunrise yesterday? Oh, you mean the one like 40 hours ago when we last orbited around the planet? Yeah, that's alright, I guess. Cool. So, yeah. Doesn't really go anywhere, does it? So, how do you usually deal with stuff that's bothering you? Oh, well, I used to ice skate, but that was a long time ago. So now I just look at the stars. So you like stargazing? Huh. I mean, it was my little brother's passion, not mine per se. He's long gone though, so I guess it reminds me of the good times. I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, it's okay, don't worry about it. Yeah, it's just chill, my brother died. I lost someone too, so I know how it feels. We're all depressed up here. His name was Ash. We were childhood friends. Ash, Shoko, and myself. So that's why you were upset. Ash enlisted to the army. It was his dream to be able to help people. Just want to comment as well, saying that I actually love this piece of music. This feels like it's captured that melancholy mood perfectly. It's still interesting enough. It's got some little rhythms and like real subtle melodies happening in the background, but it's giving space to breathe, which is what some of the other music tracks weren't doing. It was just constant note after note after note. This is really letting it's a little space in between, almost matching the flow of the conversation between the two characters. It's slower, it's steady, there's downtime between the lines in the conversation, and it's allowing that and embracing that, and I think that's actually really clever. Ash enlisted to the army. It was his dream to be able to help people. Raven, you expect a slightly more energetic lo-fi stream if that's not a total oxymoron. No, yeah, I get you on that. It's got that same kind of vibe, and plus you're probably slightly influenced by the two characters just hanging out having coffee. That's, you know, there's nothing that's... Like, the two things that are most lo-fi are studying and drinking coffee. Or tea. I wanted to be just like him, so I joined too. Then he was gone, and I became this dull, apathetic Hazel you know today. Now, one small thing that I just noticed here, and I feel bad because I actually have to bring my cursor out for this. Once you see it, you're not going to like it. The spacing between the letters, possibly just because of this particular font, is really inconsistent, and it makes it look a little bit messy. Like, if you look at the name Hazel, everything's pretty perfectly spaced. There's like 1 pixel gap in between each of the letters. A little bit different between the A and the Z because it's slightly wider. But if you look at some of those spacing here, the A and the S in was are practically touching. Whereas on the other hand, the C and the A in became have too much of a space between them. So there's a little bit of inconsistent spacing here, and I suspect what is happening here is that they've used almost like half pixels to create the font. And it's really just interesting that this has happened today, because I happened to watch a YouTube short on this yesterday, and it actually resonated with me and something that I wanted to look out for in the future. Apparently one thing that can cause, I guess, conflict in a visual style in pixel art style games such as this, and I didn't know I was going into it today, is inconsistent pixel sizes. And it's kind of hard to see, but you can actually see a little bit of it. The pixels in the portrait here, this portrait is lovely. These pixels are all the same size. But when we start looking at some of the pixels in the font sizes, they have to be smaller. Like if you compare the size of the pixel in the middle of the E compared to what's probably 2 pixels in the A, it doesn't match. If you compare it to the pixels in the sprite, it doesn't match. These pixels up here, and again, you're gonna have to zoom in on the video to really see what I'm looking at, because like this feels pedantic, but it matters to the vibe. This square here, this pixel is bigger than this pixel. This pixel is slightly taller compared to the one underneath, which is slightly wider. So you've got basically one that's wider, one that's taller, and then one that's even. It doesn't quite look right, because you're mixing different pixel styles. If you're doing a pixel art style game, you actually do need to make sure that your pixel scaling is on point so that you have consistent pixel sizes. Zoiboy, I apologize that you can't unsee it now. I'm sorry for pointing that out. But this is what I'm looking for when I'm playing these kind of games, and I find it fascinating because most people will probably play through this and be totally fine, right? But you might be left with that feeling, and it was kind of, I think this is what I spotted at the very start, where I was going, something just feels a little bit off. It feels a bit busy, even though some of the graphics are simple. And I think it's because there's a bit of inconsistency in the pixel sizes. Be curious to see if this is happening elsewhere as well, because like looking at the backgrounds, it mostly seems okay. So I think it's just the UI elements that suffer from this issue. Yeah, if I'm looking at the pixels here, these all seem pretty consistent. They're matching with the pixels of the character themselves. Because I'm looking like, okay, does the edge here and here line up? Edges here do line up. So they've been consistent with the backgrounds and the characters. I think it's just the UI that suffers from it. That mixture of clean and unclean gives it a bit of a... It pulls you out of being fully immersed in the game. As does listening to me prattle on when there's some interesting story happening here. So let's get back into it. That's not true. You just got a lot to deal with. You need someone to talk to about this stuff with. Maybe that someone can share a coffee with you every once in a while. Okay, that's sweet. Yeah, that wouldn't be so bad. I like that. They're forming some bonds. This is interesting. I don't know how big this game is. No idea how many levels there are. But this is one thing I want to see. So, if you have a look, there is a... what's the word for it? There is a banner, essentially, across the middle of the screen where it has darkened in order to be able to display these level names correctly and display the UI, which I think looks quite clean. You can basically see it here from the top here down to the bottom here. It's overlaid on top of the scene. Makes sense. Also, yeah, this is a really good example of this visual style looking kind of weird. Massive pixelated A here with clean looking sprites in the background. Bit odd. Curious to see, once we've beaten the 4th level, does it scroll? How do they squeeze it into this like confined space to make it look clean? Let's get in though. We are going into Legos Hyperbolics HQ. Shoko mentioned something interesting before she retreated, but could it be true? If it is, there's definitely something I'm not seeing. Hotshot! What's wrong? Oh, Dr. Yatsky. Just Igusa is fine. Especially for you. Okay, I like that they've put like the little tilde on the end of it to show a little bit of different emphasis. That's cute. You're alright. You seem pensive. I'm feeling pretty normal, but something is bothering me. Care to share? I've been thinking about the VY space program. Our goal is to explore the comet, right? To make it possible to harvest ether from it directly. What does Mad Bunny have to do with this? Axel has a point. They don't seem like they're trying to get in our way. Now that you mention it, I'll admit it's quite odd. I didn't question the CEO's orders at the time. I guess we were all jumpy after the incident in town. Yeah, okay, the CEO is 100% dodgy. CEO, starting to piece it together. Why the sudden interest though? You're not usually like this. What can you tell me about the CEO? Straight to the point, huh? As counterintuitive as it sounds, I'm not very close to the CEO. She did pick me specifically for the space program, but my mother was actually the one close to her. They're the company founders. Ah, nepotism. Love it. Nepotism gets everywhere. Can't escape from it in a video game. How disappointing. So, you don't know much, huh? You're right, I don't. Actually, there's something elusive about her involvement with the space program lately. Oh? Around the time you joined us, she started going to this module in the research station. There's no real way to get there through normal routes, though. Maybe, just maybe, that's where she keeps all the booze. Yeah, the little self-satisfied spin in the chair is adorable. Let's try that again. Back on track. I'm kind of stumped, not gonna lie, but she does get there on a cargo ship. Maybe it's an exclusive type of thing. That gives me ideas. Hotshot? Igusa, I know this might sound crazy, but can you help me get to that module? Wait, what? That's crazy. That module is heavily guarded by battle robots. We can't just go there. That makes me more curious. Me too. Dang it. But why do you want to go there? It's complicated. I just have this gut feeling. You know, I'm worried about what might come from this, but I'm about as curious as you are. And I know that if you're planning something this dangerous, it's for a good reason. Igusa? I'll help you out. We gotta get moving right now, alright? Don't want you getting busted when work hours start. Roger that. Thank you, Igusa. And we just dash off. So Igusa is now person in the chair, giving us directions from afar. She's gonna open doors for us. Legos Hyperbolics. We get to explore the space station that has massive gaps in the ground for no reason. Alright, so this is where I'm starting to notice something. Why are these enemies here? We saw them on the ground, and they were a problem. They were, you know, they were actively destroying the town. Why are they also here in the space station? It doesn't make any sense. This should be like more of a stealth level where you can trigger accidentally like having to fight against units that live here, right? Also, why is there a massive hole in the floor? I was going to comment on this music, but I'm pretty sure we've heard this one before. Alright, this must be the route to get to the restricted module. Ow! What the heck? There were bombs there. Talk about hostile work environment. I knew something was up. Did we just never come this way before? What's the secret that Lego's Hyperbolics needs security this tight for? Those are the questions that you should be asking. Never just blindly follow a corporation. Wait, could you not? Right. Oh no, that's a problem. Okay, so some of those things are instant death. Could you just... Right, you need to die, so I can get some health back. Thank you. Let's try this again, but better. And I think after this level, we'll actually switch and have a look at the other character to see what they're like. Maybe I'll be better with them, who knows? Really? It's actually quite tricky to try and get like a 1-2 on them like that. Oh, uh-oh. I thought I hit something there. Apparently I didn't. Okay, if you get too far away, it does break the tether. Kind of thought that'd be the case. Ah, okay. It's suffering from that thing that the early Sonic games kind of suffer from. And that is... Oh! Okay, wasn't expecting that. I thought it'd be dead. Movement mechanics that, like, encourage speed, but then platforming and level design that require you to slow down. Not uncommon, but can really impact the overall experience. There we go. Why are these guys all down here? They did say the only way to get here was by cargo ship. Are these the cargo ships? Ah! There we go. Haha! Nothing. Get out of here. It is cool that you can do some fun things like that. As long as you manage to hit what you want to zip to, doesn't matter the angle you're on, you will make it there. Where are we going? This way. Wait. Get out of here. I think, did you see that? I went straight through the enemy, but because I hadn't actually tagged them, didn't do any extra damage. Oh, that was close. There's definitely no ground down there. Alright, checkpoint. We are so close to death. Alright. Alright, that healed us. Good. Beautiful. Okay, need to actually chain some of these together. There we go. Whoa! Ah, missed that last one. I'll go back and try that again. Maybe. No. That is death. Welcome, Melissa. How you doing? There are indeed bunnies going on here. Some of them are fast, and some of them are slow, but all of them have things to do. So if we do that, there we go. Tag that, jump, boom, jump, boom. Yeah, the movement after a dash is a little slippery, if you see what I mean. However, I do appreciate that this isn't on a lives-based system, so I don't feel like I'm being punished too badly for dying, other than having to repeat sections. Okay. There we go. Okay. Yeah, it's a little weird in the movement department, but I think it just takes a bit of getting used to. Once you figure out kind of how the dashing and the momentum works, it's not bad. Alright, we're not going that way, we're going this way. This is actually probably one of the stronger pieces of music we've heard as well. It has a more defined musical theme. And it's just simply because it repeats it a couple of times. And that makes a big difference. Alright. Cool. E-rank, I'll take that. Yeah, movement doesn't seem extremely fluid. I agree. Oh, stream buggered out a little bit. Sorry. Hopefully we're good and we're back. We're okay. Let me just check here. Stream health says it's alright. 0% dropped frames. Okay. We'll keep an eye on it, see what happens. Okay, welcome Mars as well. Sorry, didn't see you drop by. Thanks for stopping by to check out the stream. Hope you're doing well. Alright. Let's see what this next fight's all about. Security isn't as tight in this module. Lagos Hyperbolics. What are you planning? I would... Wow, that just whiffed every single attack. Go me. Yeah, that jump sound effect maybe could be a little more punchy. Okay. What the hell? She looks just like me. What's the meaning of this? Shoko was saying the truth. Mother, the CEO of Lagos Hyperbolics, is planning something terrible. Zach, like when I think of good movement is when you were playing the original Sonic on Dreamcast, they would have a line of aims, you press the jump button to quickly chain through. Yeah, it's more satisfying. I can kind of see what they're going for with this, but even like there, the layout of the enemies, it's kind of hard to explain how the movement works, but you basically have your base speed here, and when you chain into an attack, that obviously has one movement speed, and when you come out of it, you get a movement speed boost. However, only seems to work for as long as you continue in the same direction. As soon as you change direction, you revert back to this standard speed. So you can kind of get this dash zoom, and then as you keep moving forward, you move pretty speedily. As soon as you swap direction, it's like, that doesn't feel good. It feels like it should continue. It's like the physics, the momentum of it isn't quite right. It's close. And I think as long as you're progressing forward, it will feel good. But the other thing is like the placement of some of the enemies just doesn't quite work for how this mechanic, I think, wants to work. I think they've basically gone for something that's very similar to like Sonic's homing attack from the more recent games, where basically there's a reticule, press the button, it homes, bounces off the enemy, and you can chain those together. But because you have the separate need to fire a projectile, that needs to hit, and then you need to like chain your attack into it, it doesn't feel quite as good. It's not as fluid as it feels like it should be. Maybe like you should use the projectile to lock on and land the first hit, and then you can just chain hits after that without additional lock-ons. Not sure. I think there's an answer there somewhere. And you know what? Maybe it's less to do with the mechanic itself and it's more to do with the layout of the enemies and the level design. Maybe that's where it comes from. Raven, God, yeah, lives just punish those of us already being punished with death and losses of progress. I think people that lives don't hurt are the people who won't even notice them. I agree. Hi, you look like me. Go away. Don't get back up. Yeah. Okay, this is getting interesting. Why are there so many versions of me? No, thank you. We're just gonna run. This is how you speedrun the game, right? Main computer. If I want answers, this must be it. I'm sorry, Yakusa. I'd have told you about Shoko being her daughter, but that'd be too dangerous. Entry number 13, July 5th, 2090. Well, you know what? Now we just know that, what's that, 60, let's say roughly 65 years from now. 65? Yeah, 65 years from now, the world will be entirely populated by bunny rabbits. DRDCA, Dr. DCA? Have any of the male characters mentioned in the characters' conversations appeared on screen, eating in flashbacks or something? Guess it's probably hard to make a bunny man look good. I mean, Final Fantasy XIV managed to get bunny boys right, but you're right, they're normally associated with female characters. Plus, yeah, so far everyone has been a bunny. No, well, other than the robots, there haven't been any non-bunny characters yet. But yeah, so far we've not had any playable male characters or ones appear on screen. They've all just been mentioned through conversation. And in a way, I think it's okay. This is always intended to be a very female-led, female-dominated game, and that's fine. That's from yesterday. Here goes. All preparations at the tower are now complete. Once we neutralize Loon, we can go directly to Wonderland. I'm sorry, Wonderland? Like Alice in Wonderland or Balan Wonderland? Either way, this is interesting choice of name. Even still, I have to work on these horrible things. Clones of the most deadly warrior in the Xanadu army, Hazel Jones. Oh dear. I'm not a weapon. It was necessary in order to get military funding for the project, in order for us to reach our dream. End of entry. Huh. She's after Loon. Lagos Hyperbolics plans to use him somehow. I need to get out of here and inform Ikusa. Oh! We need to backtrack. For a boss fight. Well, warning. Warning. Unauthorized login to main computer detected. Dispatching defense jackalope units. Well, this one has 2 health bars. Or something here does anyway. Alright, we're just going to kill a whole bunch of these. Are you just going to throw them at me one at a time, or are you going to make this a bit more difficult? I should not have said anything. Wonder what the max is that it's going to throw at us. Can I just... No, you can't spam parry. That makes me sad. Alright, we're going to have to try now. Oh, okay. I'm on my last life. There we go. And down. Okay, that's kind of fun that you get so many that come after you straight away. Oh, we're meant to lose. That's interesting. I wasn't expecting a separate cutscene to play when I failed the fight. Zach, just going to be compelling and people are actually writing compelling female leads. It's been awesome. Gamergate was garbage, set us back a bit on great rating. I agree. At the end of the day, it just needs good writing. If you're shoehorning in either a male or female lead character just to appeal to a certain demographic, you're kind of doing it wrong. It's got to be about the story, it's not about the narrative, it's about the writing. Phoenix? Look who decided to wake up. Where am I? Home sweet home. I brought you here. You saved me? Even though I'm your enemy. Yeah, in times like these, people who need help are all the same to me. Times like what? What did I miss? Shoko. Don't get the wrong idea. I still want to off you. But that would defeat the purpose of Faye rescuing you. I respect her decisions. But how? I was in the restricted module. How did you find me? I was passing by and found you lying around. You guys have terrible security. Were you having a party? Absolutely not. You were right, Shoko. Something's going on. You have no idea. Let me get you up to speed. I rescued Faye and Loon from a Lagos Hyperbolic secret facility. What do you mean? I was investigating Lagos, since it's my mother's company, and we never had much contact. I found out they were, and still are, doing experiments on hundreds of people. Loon had it worse than the rest of us. His body started to create those corruptions. They're slowly killing him. We found out that the comet shards can heal him. His suit was slowing the corruption, but you guys destroyed it. So we had to speed up our plans. But we were careless. He disappeared late last night. I can't feel his presence. He's definitely taken away. Wonderland. What did you just say? Soleil's journal in the restricted module. I'm certain she was talking about taking Loon to Wonderland. Does that make any sense? It makes all the sense. The Stardust Clock Tower, the biggest ether reserve in the country, is there. We tried to get comet shards there once, but could never get past security. You better not be lying. I don't think she has a reason to lie to us. They must be planning on using him for something. With all of that ether, Loon's power would be amplified greatly. Very well. I'm going to Wonderland. Wait. Please, let me go with you. Why should I? This is all your fault. Plus, you're not one of us. I want to make things right. This isn't the time to sit around. What's it going to be, boss? So be it. But if you try to turn on us, I won't hesitate to stop you. Right, well, that kind of answers my question as to how they're dealing with the missions here. But, aha, it's 2 pages. Change it with R1. That's clean. I like that. I also like that after the 4th mission, they've really, managed to shake up the story in quite an interesting way. Now, that said, I am going to go back to the title screen. And I want to have a look at how Axel plays, because we can use either, and I'm curious to see what this feels like, and how the story differs, if at all. Alright, let's get into it. Story mode. Okay, we start with another tutorial. Interesting. That's a very cute animation. I'll admit, something about this character model, it feels more blurred compared to the previous. However, I like the way it feels like the character is skating. I think that's going to match the way the character plays quite nicely. Oh, okay, they do little kick attacks. That's cute. They do a 1, 2, 3, whereas before we're doing a 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom, boom, boom. And now it's like a link. What it's called instead. So they actually gave it completely different names. So we can do a little spin dash. Okay. So it is very much a bounce. So how long does that stay? Because now I've got that effect around me. Ah, and it blocks 1 attack. Interesting. Okay. Let's see what we can do. Alright, we start in Luminous City again. Oh, okay, and instead we've got Raffi talking to us. Okay. Axel, do you copy? What's the city's status? It's in ruins. How could something like this happen? There was a big explosion in a building close to your position. Someone was spotted running from the scene. They left a big trail behind them. Be on your guard. Surprise! It's Bunnies. Bonk. Alright, this character feels like it might be able to get more momentum than we're actually able to get before. So I have to fight, huh? Dang, yep. Alright. Boing. Okay, yeah, this level layout is most definitely different. Oh, what? That didn't count? Okay, that's cool. That's satisfying. That feels like it was the same. I think the enemy placement might be different. Ah, okay. So we actually just have like a superhero drop. That's cool. Not sure that's intentional, but that's fine. Ah, interesting. Bonk. Hang on, can I just build up the link by doing that over and over again? Is that an... Yep. That is a viable option. Ah, we ran out of momentum. Okay. Right, so as long as that kind of greenish effect is whipping round, I can bounce. Just like a little spinning top. Definitely interesting from a momentum perspective. Ah, now she can... Well, yeah, they can get up there. A little bit harder from like a combat perspective. But actually no. I think it's a bit more forgiving. Weirdly enough. Can't jump back up there though. So we will also have to go down here. Ow. Should not have done that. So I wanted to see if I get enough momentum. Oh, never mind. We're going down here. Excuse me, Mr. Flower. Please move. Thank you. I need to go this way. Having a dash does actually make quite a difference to how the game feels. Feels a lot better, actually. And I think someone mentioned it before, and I think they were bang on. It's almost like a lack of movement options impacts the game quite heavily. Ooh. There we go. Straight through to the end. Okay, so this is a little bit more about speed. I can get behind this. Right. What happened here? This place looks worse than the rest. You. Axel, that's him. He's the source of all these distortions. You have to stop him. But wait, I gotta fight this guy? Hey, surely we can solve this another way, right? Engage. Okay, right. So yeah, this was Loon that we had at the very start. And we're just gonna bounce our way into you. Don't mind me. Sorry, coming through. Gotta move. Don't mind me. Bonk, bonk, bonk. Dodge those. Easy. S rank. Yeah, it's definitely Sonic. You're not meant to stay and kill things. You're just a kid. My armor. Why did you... I see. You don't really know what's going on. Weirdly, it does feel like this character's story is meant to be played first. Oh, shoot! Are you hurt? Let me help. Loon! Aha, and we're back. Loon, are you okay? Your suit is... Don't worry about the suit. This just means a change of plans. Also, we were asking before if we had a bunny boy. We do have a bunny boy. Loon was one of the first characters we met, which is a bunny boy. We totally missed that. We just blanked on it. This just means a change of plans. Darn, I'm outnumbered. How am I going to fight my way out of this? You there. Don't be alarmed. We're not looking for a fight. Consider this skirmish a blunt misunderstanding. Just, what do you guys deal? We are Mad Bunny, and we kindly ask you to stay out of our way. Loon, isn't that... No matter. We need to get moving. Clock's ticking. Wait! Did you hear her? Stay out of our way if you don't want trouble. Consider this a warning. Axel Loop. Yeah, they knew who we were straight away. They know who I am? Ugh, this is so confusing. Axel, do you copy? Raffi! I'm sorry, I lost him. Don't worry about that. For now, get back to HQ. Okay. So yeah, same layout, same level, different story beats, slightly. Okay. We can skip this. We have seen this before. Jaboom, we back. Okay, this cutscene seems to be the same. It's a little bit more background chatter. Yeah, okay, we're getting a slightly different perspective here. Remind me why there's a Xanadu army soldier in our Labagusa. I don't see much use for one when we have good old Axel here. The hot-headed one is Raffi. She's our mechanic and engineer. Hot-headed? She's not even listening. The girly-looking guy next to her is Axel. Hey, what's that supposed to mean? Okay. Slander these two all the time? We're like family. I don't get a lot of new people around here, so... Nice to meet you. You were the one in the yellow suit, right? Oh, that's right. Were you watching? What did you think? Did I live up to expectations? You did well enough, but... Your technique is clumsy. This isn't a trial run. Thanks? Don't listen to Axel. You were amazing. I agree that you did great, but Hazel has a valid point, even if a somewhat blunt one. This is going to be a tough job. Hazel's here to help us coordinate field operations from HQ, part of the government deal. On that note, we got word from the CEO. She put us in charge to take care of that Mad Bunny group. Seems like they're targeting Xanadu-controlled areas. Problem is, we don't know why, but judging from the city incident, we need to apprehend them as they can be a threat. So, we have to fight them again, huh? Alright, let me select next mission. Alright, let's see if it's the same. Very curious. Yeah, we are back into the Forest of Morach. Alright, so it follows the same levels, but slightly different perspective. Oh, that missed. Okay, so we can bounce off them that way. Although, if we're already spinning, what happens? Hang on. It's kind of difficult to aim. Nope. Alright, yeah, that just falls through. So you do have to use the other ability to get a bounce. Okay. Completed. Alright, I think we'll play through this level and then we'll probably actually call it there, because I don't want to spoil too much of the game. As much as I've been having like little complaints about it, it's a solid game. Like, really can't say anything otherwise than that. And I'm very curious to see where it takes it. I feel like compared to other like Mega Man style games and like other things from that era, it has a bit more story going for it. But I do feel like it isn't quite getting the balance between the movement and the combat quite right. Oops, yep, that was gonna happen. Okay. Raven, yeah, the other character led to a lot of leaps of faith with minimal correction. It seems not to work as fast. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Alright, we can just whoop. Takes a little bit to get used to how the movement of this one works because the spin is on a very slight cooldown. And again, ooh, you can see there, it sometimes suffers from weird movement. Alright, yeah, we can do that. And right, first encounter. Oh, actually, sorry, I should be reading this. It is different. Hey, you! Are you a member of Mad Bunny? Can you hear me? Now, from memory, there was a big old pit there. Ah, she has a magic barrier. Caught by the oldest trick in the book, huh? How embarrassing. Cut it out. I didn't notice the oddly conspicuous leaf pile. I guess this confirms she's the witch we're after. Go find out if she's really with Mad Bunny, will you? Oldest trick in the book. Alright. Yeah, see, enemies like that slow your movement, which don't feel good. The enemies should be actually laid out slightly differently for this character so that you can either bounce off them more or do more bouncing forward and back. It's you again. Bro, that was a pretty embarrassing performance. See? My thoughts exactly. Jeez, quit bullying me. Excuse me, are you a member of Mad Bunny? So what if I am? Sorry, wrong voice there. I'm just here to ask some questions. What are you doing in the forest? Ah, I are not a potato. Hello, just found your channel. Wanted to say you make cool content. Thank you very much for stopping by to say that. I appreciate it. And more importantly, I'm glad that you're enjoying the content. If you've been enjoying the main reviews, good news. We're hoping to have another one out this weekend. So stay tuned. More good review content coming your way shortly. We'll be taking a little bit of a break over Christmas and New Year's. But yeah, we're hoping to get into a good rhythm with content for the new year. But yeah, thanks for checking out the channel. I appreciate you stopping by. I'm Faye of the Nyx clan, and I protect these ruins from invaders like you. Invaders? No, you got it all wrong. Your battle armor says otherwise. Have at you! Okay, she's a lot more fierce this time around, interestingly. Alright, give me a thing that I can hit. Bonk. This is actually going to be trickier because now I don't have projectiles. I do actually have to just bounce myself into things and not into the other things. This music, weirdly enough, like, it gives me Crash Bandicoot vibes. Oh no, I can just spin through them, and as long as I've got a bit of spin protection, it doesn't matter. See? You're not fun to play with. Wait, was there always 2 parts to this? That was intense. I mean, it really wasn't that intense. But if you say so, let's just stay away from that. Ah, yeah, no, we did this before. Alright, up we go. See, that kind of movement is fun. No, don't. Now I can't get back up there. That makes me sad. I wanted to do a cool thing. There we go. No. Alright, fine. Is it even possible to get up there? Maybe not with this character. Okay. Because that's always going to bump me in the other direction. But perhaps if I do a... Okay, yep. I can't get up any... Oh, actually. Nope, that's a solid wall. Can't go through it. Ah, but I must be able to because I can't go to the right. So I need to get better at doing things like that. That's cool. So I could have had a shortcut, but I missed it. Oh, dang it. Ooh, yeah. See that weird movement there? Like, the speed at which you bounce off doesn't match the speed at which you then move. Very odd. Why am I not bouncing off you anymore? Why have you changed? There we go. Okay. Yeah. Something's a bit funky with the movement. Okay. Made it. Challenging. I think, yeah, they're just not quite spaced in the right way. Raven, everything about the game is really cool, and I think loads of people are going to love it. I'd like a slightly different enemy placement, but it's not unplayable, so it's doing pretty well. I have to keep in mind that this game was made by 2 devs. And the fact that they've got all of this is impressive at the end of the day. It's not going to be 100% polished, it's not going to be 100% perfect, and that is okay. I think it's still going to be quite good. Iron Odd Potato came from the horrible 100 survival game. 100 days. Yes. I wonder what was going through that guy's head when they made it. Honestly, they were probably just aiming to make a survival game, and that's as far as they got, to be honest. Not sure why they decided that was worth purchasing, though, but you know what? That's how it is. Phew, finally caught up to you. Persistent, aren't you? Typical of you folks from the Lagos Hyperbolics. I don't get it. What's the point of all this? You really are naive, huh? Ravenhead really wants to... Fair. I want to see someone really good play through it. No offense to you, of course, but... Totally fine. I am not an expert in these kinds of games. I played my fair share of Sonic, but this is not Sonic. I think absolutely watching someone do a speed run through these levels would just be like a jaw-dropping thing. Be like, I'm sorry, what? How did they do that? In your effort to achieve progress, you take away our lands and resources. That's why I'm protecting this forest from scum like you. I don't buy it. What about what happened at Luminous City? What did that have to do with protecting the forest? Listen. Things are more complicated than you think. You better turn back, or else. She won't collaborate. What should I do? Is fighting really the only option? But people may be in danger. There's no telling what they can do. Sorry, kid. I can't trust you after what I saw. I'm gonna have to stop you now. I'd like to see you try. Alright, we'll get through this one. Hi, Phoenix. I love that, like, everyone gets battle armor, and theirs just makes them look like a witch. That's very cool. Bonk, 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 bonk. No, no bonk. Bonk, 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 bonk. Alrighty. Oh, we're doing the magic bowls again? Sure, why not? This character is definitely easier to play than the previous one. It's a lot more forgiving. You still get the same amount of health, plus if you land attacks correctly, like that, you just build up a shield as well, and then you can't be beat. Bonk, bonk, bonk. Piece of cake. There we go. Got a good combo out of it as well. Now I just dash and take that. That's a comet shard. But you said you were just protecting the forest. Did you actually come here to nab the shard? I wasn't lying to you. I did need the shard, but it belongs to the Nyx clan. Sorry, kid. Comet shards are pretty dangerous if handled wrong. What do you need them for? I'll listen. Ha! Too late. I don't trust you lot, especially pawns like you. What? I'm no pawn. I chose to fight. If you keep lying to yourself, you're gonna end up just like her. That blonde friend of yours. That's enough. Bring her back to HQ. We've got lots of questions for her when she's here. You heard the lady. Yeah, definitely a softer character, and I kind of like that. It means that there's a nice dynamic between the two main characters. Okay, we've seen that. She didn't tell me, though she said she did a lot of things about protecting the ruins from us. Okay, no ownership for the next clan, used to inhabit the region. We saw that before. Okay, I don't think it's really anything new here, it's just flavor. Okay. Hold up. They're not actively trying to pick a fight, so I wouldn't call them a threat. But a fight broke out nonetheless, and they have the means to hold their ground in one. Stop being naive. We can't just give up on diplomacy. Alright, you two, settle down. Both of you raised good points, but we're not getting anywhere like this. Keep the pressure on Mad Bunny, just to be safe. We've already got a location they might target, considering they're after comet shards. Let's get to work. Interesting. Okay, yeah, and then we're to Yokaido as well. So it follows the same layout of levels, but with different angle, different conversation, and a different flavor to it. I am curious as to whether or not when you get to that fourth mission, are the clones different? Are the clones the same? Very curious to see what Axel's interpretation of events is at that point. However, I think we're going to leave it there because I don't want to spoil too much of the game. This is meant to be just a first look and a little bit of critique. And I think on that note, let's jump back to the main menu here. And we'll share some final thoughts before we move on. Because I have to say that there's a lot that I like about the game, but it definitely has some rough edges. But I expect that from such a small dev team at the end of the day. Do I think it is worth it? Considering that it's being priced at, I believe, and don't hold me to this, well, the price isn't visible on Steam yet, but I believe it's being priced at roughly $10 US. It seems like there's a pretty decent amount of content here, and it is quality. So yeah, I would definitely recommend checking that out if it's the kind of game that you like and it's within your budget. In terms of like feedback for the devs, I would say that I can see that you have put a lot of your passion and your soul into this. Like it comes through as like a work of love. I think you clearly have taken inspiration from some classic games and want to pay homage to them, but also put your own spin on it, and I admire that. I think there's a little bit of inconsistency with some of the art style, and I think as a team your strengths are actually in the art, the story writing, and to an extent in the music as well. Where I think you would need to spend a little bit more time to get the feel right is probably in the level design and enemy variety. Weirdly enough, you've got a good variety of enemies, but they're the same in every level. There's nothing that makes really levels stand out in that way other than just the backgrounds. There's a different coat of paint over things and you introduce some different mechanics, but the enemies don't get the same treatment, which suddenly make things feel out of place. So my advice, and I'm sure you've done this already, so I don't want to sound pedantic or mean by saying it because you've probably done the obvious, and I need to give you due credit for that, but I would definitely say go back and have a look specifically at the level design of some of the highly regarded Mega Man and 2D Sonic games. Look at the way they structured things, look at the way they laid out the alternative routes, and look at how the movement and combat mechanics work and flow with the enemy placement. Because I think that's what's letting this one down a little bit. It's got a nice flow when you get moving, but there's no reward for that flow. Sonic does really dumb little things like springboards to build up your momentum, loop-de-loops that you can run through that are just, they don't really achieve anything. If anything, it slows your progress down because you go backwards slightly before going forwards. But they're fun, and they help with that feeling of momentum. You're going fast so that you can do this. If you're not going fast enough, you can't do it. they really nail that really, really well. And I think it's the level design that's letting this game down so far. You never quite get fluid movement. The enemy placement, I think, needs to be different for the two characters in order to work, because you've got one that's all about chaining from enemy to enemy and maintaining momentum, and then you've got one character that is about bouncing off enemies to preserve momentum, which is kind of a different way of thinking about it. And from what I've seen, unless it changes later in the game, the levels follow the same layout and the same enemy placement, and it simply can't work for both. So I think you mentioned yourself when in the Q&A that I sent through that if you had the chance to do this again, you would just focus on one character rather than two, because it greatly increased your workload. Right here is where the workload matters, because you've created these levels in a way that they can be played through with either character, but as a result, they don't feel great to play as either character because they don't lean into their mechanics and movement enough. A good example of this, really enough, that comes to my mind just from my personal experience is something like Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. One of my favorite Sonic games of all time. There are levels which are based in the same area, but you play as different characters and therefore have different navigation routes through the level and different mechanics. So, you know, you play some levels as Sonic, and then you might do a level as Tails, and then you might do a level as, I don't know, Knuckles or something. They're all totally different and play in very different ways, and the levels are designed to play to those strengths. Here, the levels are the same. So you kind of get part way there on both characters. So I think it's still okay. I think it's still fun to play through, but it doesn't quite scratch that itch in the same way that some of those classic games do. And I think literally that is how far away you are from having a game that could become that kind of cult classic, in the same way that some other games that play homage to Sonic and Mega Man are. And in a way, I hope that doesn't come across as mean. I think it is just unfortunate. I don't think it's a result of a lack of effort or a lack of talent or a lack of trying. I think it is that it was a development decision that was made somewhere along the line to say, we're going to have two characters and they both play through the same levels, so these levels must be possible with either character, rather than going, these levels need to be modified to make them feel the best for each character. And it is just unfortunate that realistically you're a small dev team, so which one's more achievable? It's having one level layout that works for both. Which one's more fun though is a different answer, and that's where it's tricky. And I definitely appreciate that you probably had to make some tough development decisions along the way, so I respect that. This is the kind of game that I think would be amazing to invest a little bit of time and update and get some feedback from the community about what they feel is working and what's not working. I will admit that this game has sucked me in from a story perspective. It's got the right level of like those touches of sci-fi, but those moments of like emotional realism as well as the characters are working through things, but it doesn't overstay its welcome either. Even that like nice heart-to-heart scene that we had between the two main characters was still relatively short. It wasn't any longer than it needed to be, and that takes talented writing to achieve, so please give yourselves a big pat on the back for that. Getting that pacing while still hammering home the right messaging is difficult, so kudos to you. That's very well done. I think as an overall package, your game presents itself really well. It's definitely going to intrigue a lot of people from the outset, and especially at a very accessible price point. I sincerely hope that you're going to gain some good traction on Steam and get some more people into the game. I'll be leaving a review with some of my thoughts as well. I'll try and focus on some of the more positives for you. I think like it's a game people will enjoy, but I think they will feel that it has its flaws. And it's the kind of game that I think, you know, if I'd played through it 10 years ago, I would have gone, that was great. I wish it did more. And what I actually hope happens with this is that you get some traction, get some attention, and get some funding as a result, that the game's able now to, get some purchases and pay for itself. And what I would love to see in the future is a sequel that takes these same ideas and just polishes it. Because that's what I think it needs. I think you've got something solid and you've clearly got talent. It just needs a little bit of love, a little bit more care, a little bit more polish that you probably just haven't been able to do due to development restrictions. So overall, I want to say congratulations. This game is fantastic. I'm enjoying my time with it and absolutely will recommend it to others. Excited to see what you do next in the future. Hopefully those thoughts make sense. Chat, let me know if I missed any key points in here. I know we've touched on things like the graphics, the art style, the music previously, so hopefully the devs watching through have seen those points and take them on board. We'd definitely love to know if, from a community perspective, you guys have got any other thoughts to share about the game that I might have missed. Raven said, might be the level design's really good if we were better gamers, so there might need to be an extra couple easier laid out stages or something. I didn't feel like the level design was particularly challenging, but I would say it didn't feel like it was particularly interesting, if that makes sense. It was clear that there were some different routes to take, but maybe not as obvious as they are in, say, the 2D Sonic games, where they make me intrigued to see what's this way. And I think part of that is, in the Sonic games, exploration is kind of encouraged, because you've got things like the Chaos Emeralds that are hidden, or bonus stages that you might stumble across and find. And once you realize that those are there, you start taking the time to explore levels more thoroughly. This game's missing a little bit of that. There's no alternative endings, no different ways to finish levels. It is kind of nice that it has that branching structure where it starts small, expands out with different paths, but then it all loops back into a single endpoint. That's very... it's very clean, I think, in its level design. But I still come back to the fact that it doesn't feel satisfying to progress through, because it doesn't lean into any one character's mechanics well enough to fully encapsulate that. What did I miss there? Oh yeah, it's really easy for devs to get really good at their own game and forget we suck. That's why I put easier in many quotes, something that feels smoother and more exciting to a beginner. Especially at the early levels, you want to be like, yeah, let's make it super obvious, like, these are the way the enemy's laid out, so if you're playing as Axel, you just bounce, 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 and as long as you hit that enemy first, it's got less health than that enemy, so you'll eventually bounce off that and continue on using the new momentum. That's what you want. In later levels, maybe the player has to think about it more cleverly, chain it together in different ways with different attacks. Like, you just ramp up the complexity. This feels like it was missing a little bit of that. Jensky, can't help but feel Grail speaking like a fatherly figure, saying, I'm not angry, I'm disappointed. I get why you would feel that way. I don't think I'm disappointed. I think I can see the potential in this game for what it could achieve with the mechanics that it has. And I just want more, is probably the thing. It's doing good things, I want it to lean into that, and I want more of it. That's probably what it comes down to. Solid game that probably just doesn't quite fully capitalize on the core mechanics that they've created. It's fun to play, the story is fantastic, graphically it looks lovely, the music is pleasant and nice to listen to, if maybe not 100% memorable. Am I having a good time with it? Yes, absolutely. Is it worth $10? Absolutely, I think it is as well. Would I pay $20, $30, maybe even $40 for a longer, more polished version of a game like this? Absolutely I would, and that's what I want to see these devs work towards, if that makes sense. I mentioned this in like my most recent video around 100 pumpkins, and I think these devs need to go on that same kind of journey. This, I think, and I sincerely hope, is a stepping stone for them on their development journey. And their next game will be able to identify the flaws that were in this, an already good game, and fix those flaws to make an excellent game. That's what I sincerely hope they're able to do. So I hope they are proud of what they have been able to make in this game, because they should be. Excited to see where they can take it in the future, because they've clearly got some talent and some good ideas. And I think on that note, that is a good place to wrap up, and I think we will end the stream there. I don't want to be too repetitive, going over the same thoughts time and time again. But what I will say is, if you want to check out the game, let me just drop the link for you here. Boom, there you go. That is Code Bunny. Add it to your wish list if it's caught your attention. Comes out in just under 24 hours. Coming out tomorrow. So make sure to give that one a good look. And yeah, I'm excited to see where they go with this in the future, especially considering that, you know, looking at some of the screenshots, there are definitely additional mechanics in here. Like, I'm seeing Hazel doing spin attacks, uppercuts. There's an additional character on screen that we've seen but didn't tag along with us. I'm seeing Axel doing drop kicks at enemies from a distance. We didn't get to do that. So there's probably some things that I simply didn't discover. So maybe that's on me. Had I played further, maybe I would have seen some of that depth that I wanted to see. Jensky, off topic, but any chance we could get a Panda intro on the next wheel stream? I'd love to, Jensky. Unfortunately, Panda is not here in the apartment yet. However, the good news is that Panda has arrived in Melbourne as of last Friday. She's currently going through her last 10 days of quarantine here in Australia. And we will have her in our apartment with us just before Christmas Eve. So we'll have her here soon, and as soon as she is, you bet she's going to be helping out with the intro on stream. My intent is to get a new camera for my stream setup, because this one, it's okay, but you can see like it doesn't work quite nicely in the light, especially if I get close. Like, it's meant to be 4K, but it's a bit pixely. It's not clean. So I want to get a camera upgrade, and then I'm going to probably repurpose this one for a cat cam, because every good stream has a cat cam. All right, Raven putting in the bet Grail was less than a level away from the next ability. Oh, devs, if you're watching this back later, leave a comment. Let me know how far away I was from unlocking something cool, because that would just be absolutely typical that I've just missed it. Jesky, thank you. Yeah, appreciate it. It's awesome news. We've been, like, seriously, I left Canada late July. She was put into a boarding facility, I think, just about 2 weeks before that, so kind of mid-July. So we've been apart for nearly 6 months. So we're very keen to have her back. She's going to get spoiled. We've got lots of treats. We bought toys. We've got a cat tree for her that she's never had before. So I think she's going to be very, very happy to be back with us. So yeah, you'll see photos on Discord, and she will definitely pop into a stream in the future. All right, let's wrap things up there, because I still got some things to do tonight. Got some more script to write for an upcoming video. No rest for the wicked, but I hope the rest of you have a wonderful rest of the day, no matter what time it is. I appreciate you very, very much for stopping by this evening and checking out the game. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I will see you very soon for either the next stream or the next video. And until then, you know how it goes. Take care.